Officer Maria Torres was only 6 months into her job at the Texas State Correctional Facility when she was suddenly assigned to one of the toughest blocks in the prison. It was a place filled with hardened criminals, murderers, drug traffickers, and men with nothing to lose. For Maria, a young female officer, this assignment was both an opportunity and a test. She knew many of her colleagues doubted her ability to handle such a dangerous environment. As she walked down the dimly lit corridor on her first night, she felt the heavy silence broken only by the clanging of metal doors. Prisoners pressed against the bars, some whispering taunts, others laughing crudely. Yet, among the chaos, one man's gaze stood out. Darnell Hayes, a tall and quiet inmate with sharp eyes, didn't join the jeers. Instead, he watched her with a look she couldn't quite read, neither mocking nor hostile, but alert. Later that night, when Maria returned to her small office desk, she found a folded piece of paper slid beneath it. The words scribbled in uneven handwriting were short and unsettling, "Don't talk." Maria frowned, unsure what it meant. Was it a threat? A warning? She glanced toward the cells, and there he was, Darnell, sitting calmly in the corner of his bunk, staring at her with an intensity that made her uneasy. She shook off the feeling, telling herself it was just another mind game played by inmates, yet the message stayed in her mind. It wasn't just the words, it was the urgency in them, like someone trying to save her from something she couldn't see. The following evening, Maria forced herself to act normal. She carried out her duties, checking cells and monitoring the block, though the memory of the strange note lingered. When she sat at her desk again, she found another message, this time written on torn toilet paper, stuffed under her chair, "Don't talk. Just listen." Her pulse quickened. She slipped it into her pocket before anyone could see. That night, as she passed Darnell's cell, he gave her the smallest nod, as though confirming she had understood. Maria's instincts told her this wasn't a prank, it was deliberate. Later, while taking a short break in the staff room, she overheard two senior guards talking. Their voices were low, but Maria caught enough to realize something was off. They weren't discussing work, they were laughing about how easy it was to move shipments past the warden. She froze. Were they smuggling contraband? Her stomach knotted. If what she suspected was true, then the danger wasn't from the prisoners, it was inside the staff ranks. And suddenly, the notes made sense. Whoever had written them didn't want her to draw attention, didn't want her to speak where someone could overhear. Maria's thoughts raced as she returned to her patrol. Darnell met her eyes again. He pressed a finger to his lips, a silent command for her to stay quiet, then flicked his gaze toward the guard station. For the first time, Maria realized, this inmate wasn't warning her about fellow prisoners, he was warning her about her own colleagues. By the third day, Maria couldn't shake the feeling she was walking on dangerous ground. Everything around her seemed normal on the surface, but the whispers of corruption buzzed in her mind. Determined to confirm her suspicions, she began observing more carefully. While making a surprise inspection near the guard's locker room, she noticed something odd, a floor tile slightly loose, its edges chipped as though it had been lifted before. Pretending to tie her boot, Maria pushed it aside just enough to peek beneath. What she saw froze her blood, tightly wrapped packets of drugs, rolls of cash, and, most alarming of all, a small pistol. Her throat went dry. This wasn't just smuggling. This was organized, dangerous crime happening under the prison's roof. She quickly replaced the tile and forced herself to walk away calmly. That night, unable to hold her silence any longer, she broke the rule written on the notes. She whispered one word through Darnell's bars, "Why?" His eyes met hers, and for the first time, he spoke. His voice was low but firm, heavy with seriousness, "Because they'll kill you next." He explained that corrupt guards had been running the operation for months, hiding contraband inside the facility and forcing prisoners to take the blame whenever suspicions arose. They used intimidation, beatings, and false reports to keep inmates silent. Darnell admitted he had stayed quiet to survive, but when Maria was assigned, he knew she wouldn't stand a chance if she uncovered too much. To him, the notes were the only way to keep her alive. Maria's fear turned into a chilling realization: she wasn't just new to the block. She was already a target. Sleep evaded Maria as she wrestled with fear and doubt. By morning, she made her decision: she would expose the corruption, but she couldn't do it alone. Approaching Darnell's cell discreetly, she asked what she should do. He gave her a simple plan: play dumb. Act as if she had no idea. Keep her body camera running at all times, especially during shift change, when the guards were most careless. They'll slip, he muttered, and when they do, you'll have proof. That evening, Maria carried out her duties with deliberate calm, her body camera hidden but recording. Sure enough, 2 guards approached her during storage room inventory. Their smiles were fake, their tone threatening. One of them pressed close, whispering, "You've been snooping, rookie. Don't make us clean up after you." Another pulled a knife, holding it against her side. Maria's hands trembled, but she forced herself not to react. The recording was catching everything. Suddenly, a loud siren wailed through the prison corridors, the fire alarm. Outside the storage room, chaos erupted as inmates shouted and guards scrambled. The men holding Maria swore under their breath, distracted. It was Darnell. He had smashed a water pipe to trigger the alarm, creating the perfect diversion. Seizing the moment, Maria pressed her radio, transmitting their threats live to command. Within minutes, the warden and backup officers stormed in, catching the corrupt guards with weapons drawn. The smuggling operation was no longer a rumor, it was exposed in the open. The prison was rocked by scandal in the following weeks. Several guards were arrested, investigated, and charged with trafficking and corruption. Maria's body camera and radio recording became the key evidence. For her bravery, she was praised by the department, her reputation instantly elevated. Yet Maria knew the truth: she hadn't done it alone. Without Darnell's warnings, without his silence, she wouldn't have survived long enough to collect proof. Before being transferred to another facility for his protection, Darnell had one last conversation with her. He looked through the bars, his face calm yet carrying years of unspoken pain. Sometimes the loudest voice, he told her, is silence. Don't forget that. Maria nodded, knowing she never would. In that moment, she no longer saw him as just an inmate. He was the man who had risked his life to protect her from the very people sworn to stand beside her. His words stayed with her throughout her career, reminding her that justice doesn't always wear a uniform, and that truth can come from the most unexpected places. For Maria, the phrase, "don't talk," would forever mean survival, wisdom, and trust in the unlikeliest ally behind prison bars.